Chapter 15, the Muscular System, Part 1. Chapter 15, Overview. In this chapter, you will learn about the different types of muscle tissue and their different characteristics and functions, how muscle cells are specialized to contract and cause voluntary and involuntary movements, the ways in which muscle contraction is controlled, how skeletal muscles change in length, the structure and organization of skeletal muscles, and how actin and myosin filaments move across each other to cause muscle contraction, about cardiac muscle tissue and how it contracts to pump blood through the body, about smooth muscle tissue that makes up internal organs and structures, the physical and mental health benefits of aerobic and anaerobic exercise, how individuals vary in their response to exercise, and disorders of the muscular system. Muscle structure. The muscular system consists of all the muscles of the body. The largest percentage of muscles in the muscular system consists of skeletal muscles, which are attached to bones and enable voluntary body movements. There are almost 650 skeletal muscles in the human body. Besides skeletal muscles, the muscular system also includes cardiac muscle, which makes up the walls of the heart, and smooth muscles, which control movement in other organs and structures. Muscles are organs composed mainly of muscle cells, which are also called muscle fibers in skeletal and cardiac muscle, and myocytes, mainly in smooth muscle. Muscle cells are long and specialized for the function of contracting. They contain protein filaments that slide over one another using the energy in ATP. Muscle function. The sliding filaments of skeletal muscle shorten the length of muscle cells. Muscle contractions are responsible for virtually all the movements of the body, both inside and out. Skeletal muscles are attached to the bones of the skeleton, and when these muscles contract, they move the body, maintain posture, and help keep balance. Smooth muscles in the walls of blood vessels contract to cause vasoconstriction, which may help conserve body heat. Relaxation of these muscles causes vasodilation, which may help the body lose heat. Smooth muscles squeeze food through the gastrointestinal tract by contracting in sequence to form a wave of muscle contractions called peristalsis, which also moves urine through the urinary tract. Cardiac muscle tissue is found only in the walls of the heart. When cardiac muscle contracts, it makes the heart beat. The pumping action of the beating heart keeps blood flowing through the cardiovascular system. Muscle hypertrophy. Muscles can grow larger or hypertrophy, generally through increased use, although hormonal or other influences can also play a role. The increase in testosterone during puberty can cause significant increase in muscle size. Physical exercise that involves weight-bearing or resistance training can increase the size of skeletal muscles in virtually everyone. Exercises such as running that increase the heart rate may also increase the size and strength of the cardiac muscle. The size of a muscle, in turn, is the main determinant of muscle strength, which may be measured by the amount of force a muscle can exert. Muscle atrophy. Muscles can grow smaller or atrophy, in which can occur through a lack of physical activity or from starvation. People who are immobilized for any length of time, for example, because of a broken bone or surgery, or due to a lack of food or due to weightlessness, lose muscle mass relatively quickly. Many diseases, including cancer and AIDS, are associated with muscle atrophy. Atrophy of muscles also happens with age. As people grow older, there is a gradual decrease in the ability to maintain skeletal muscle mass. This is known as sarcopenia. One possible cause is a decrease in the sensitivity to growth factors that are needed to maintain muscle mass. Because muscle size determines the strength, muscle atrophy causes a corresponding decline in muscle strength. When muscle hypertrophy happens, the individual fibers become wider. When muscle atrophy happens, the fibers become narrower. Interactions with other body systems. Skeletal muscles need stimulation from motor neurons to contract. The point where a motor neuron attaches to a muscle is called a neuromuscular junction. To raise your hand in class, your brain sends electrical messages through motor neurons to your arm and shoulder. Then motor neurons stimulate muscle fibers in your arm and shoulder to contract, causing your arm to rise. Involuntary contractions of smooth and cardiac muscles are also controlled by electrical impulses. But in the case of these muscles, the impulses come from the autonomic nervous system, in the case of smooth muscle, or specialized cells in the heart, as you know, are called the cardiac muscle cells. Hormones and other factors also influence involuntary contractions of cardiac and smooth muscles. For example, the fight or flight hormone adrenaline increases the rate at which cardiac muscle contracts, thereby speeding up the heartbeat. Muscles cannot move the body on their own. They need the skeletal system to act upon. The two systems together are often referred to as the musculoskeletal system. Skeletal muscles are attached to the skeleton by tough connective tissues called tendons. Many skeletal muscles are attached to the ends of bones that meet at a joint. The muscles span the joint and connect the bones. When the muscles contract, they pull on the bones, causing them to move. The skeletal system provides a system of levers that allow body movement and provides the force that moves the levers. Types of muscle tissue. Muscle tissue is a soft tissue that makes up most of the tissues of the muscles of the human muscular system. Other tissues in the muscular system are connective, such as tendon, and sheaths of connective tissue that cover or line muscle tissues. Only muscle tissue, however, has the ability to contract. And here we see the 3 different types of muscle tissue that you've studied before in Introduction to the Human Biology tissue section. And so you can see the difference in the structures, the more ordered skeletal muscle on the top, the sort of fingering cells of the smooth muscle, and the basket-like cell structure of the cardiac muscle.